decent day today. I just kind of want to zoom out and give you guys what we talked about last time. And then we'll dive deep into smaller time frames. Most of you guys should have the Orbit VWAP. And that one, as you guys know, has different ones that you can use. I use this one a lot throughout the day, and then also when I'm charting different time frames. So you can see monthly, quarterly, you can see where these levels kind of line up, right? So I would, if you don't have it by some weird chance, just send me a message with your TV username and we'll add it. But it's good to know where the like higher level VWAPs are, and you'll see that most of these are on the bottom here. So with that being said, I'm gonna do the offset. I just want to talk about the monthly profiles, right? That's kind of what I'm showing you right here. And I'm on RTH, and you can certainly go to ETH for this. Just take a look where we are, right? So we had the November value, right? Value area high closed pretty close to the all-time, the high of the profile, which is bullish or bearish?
Bullish. Bullish.
It's bullish because, if it was closing away from the highs, that means that there was some excess and they pushed the extreme down. In this case, it was good. In this profile that we are seeing currently also for December, it's pretty high up there, right? POC, we shifted it, we lost it. And we talked about this just on Friday. Do you guys remember how we said this is a big level? Most likely is going to happen. They're going to come back here, and this is where we're expecting what?
A new all-time high.
Responsive buyers.
If the
Buyers
responsive
show up.
buyers come in, guys, there's a high chance they can execute this really quickly. And tomorrow is, CPI. So if you're not familiar, I do not trade news. If you guys are wanting to trade news, go ahead. Eventually, you guys will understand why I don't. It's just too much volatility. There's a lot of slippage. There's, your stop losses get ignored. So I would definitely, suggest that if you're not comfortable with it, just sit on the sidelines for a little bit, because we are at a pretty pivotal level for the market right now, and they can play it, right? They can dip below this, and that's your best scenario, is if they dip below this a little bit more and then they reclaim it. Just keep in mind this, I would call it November POC here. This is a pretty massive node, right? That's sitting there. By some chance, right? Let's say we lose this 615, there's a really, really good chance that we are headed all the way to the bottom here, guys. About 59, this area right here. This is the level we also talked about, right, recently. So if they lose that, that's what we would expect. And then somewhere, the support really, the biggest support that they're going to have, I would say it's somewhere around here. And if you guys think about it, this was your September. This is where they started auctioning much higher. They broke the previous all-time highs. They proceeded, and that's where they bounced off last time. And we had the crowded low. Then you had this massive round November, and here's December round. But between these levels, this one is the most important for them. I know if they lose this, there's a high chance that you're going to go to the POC again. Then you have this value set overlap. But these will be your critical levels in terms of higher auction right now. And they're showing a little bit of a slowdown right now. And we talked about this December range last time on Sunday, that it's pretty compressed, right? There's not a lot of participants in. It's slowing down a bit. And if we lose this tomorrow, let's say this 42 is lost, well, it sets up for a potential 615 quick drop here. So I would definitely watch this PDL and see how do we behave and how do we open against it on the daily time frame. If you guys look at the weekly, right, we're just in the middle of week right now. Same scenario, right? So if you guys look here, this is an important level. Why? This one right here.
It hasn't been retested.
Yeah, it hasn't been retested, and this is where you will have your weekly framing down occur, right? And if you guys look, this is where you also had some value area highs before, where they accepted the prices higher. So somewhere around here. Right, so that would be the next level that you're watching, and then you would have a VPOC that's sitting. I'll probably mark that zone, but then maybe 3-4 points around it, like something like this. So this is your basically HVN because it is November and you see multiple weeks have a POC, hence it's November POC. So losing this triggers this, and then right below that you have 6,004, which would be there. But I would expect them to bounce at the 615 level. If they lose this, then we're most likely headed here. So everybody okay on higher time frames? We're not framing down on a weekly, but we are definitely framing down on a daily. So here's your daily profiles, and you see, right? And we remember how we talked about that this profile was looking a little like the auction was slowing down. Do you guys recollect that from Sunday? That this was not really strength. Like for instance, we talked about this profile, we talked about the overlap, the suppressed profile here. And then here, we were aiming for some of the levels that they needed to reclaim and they were not able to. And then you see now you have a liquidation profile, almost like a double distribution here. I would say it looks like it's almost, it looks like a double distribution here as well, to a downside, right? There is some overlap here. So out of this formation, right? And what would be your guys' level? If you just look at these charts, what's the most critical level for you for them to reclaim tomorrow?
At 60.
Okay, so you're thinking right here, 56, or this one here?
56 to 60.
Yeah, this one is fairly large, right? That's a fairly important level, I would say here, right? That's an important level. And then you have this all-time high that I wouldn't necessarily ignore because this was the zone we had, I believe, before. Yeah, so we had this 68.71 as well. The zone was there. So it's not like crystal clear until we look at the TPO, but I would say it's somewhere around here. We can crack this area here for upside between 61. You can probably catch 70, 72-ish to what this high is, 75, but I'll be super careful here because this value area high is going to carry some weight. I would mark that level on my charts. And that would be the pivotal level for me for upside. And why is that? Why is this level pivotal for upside?
It's the penthouse up there.
That's the penthouse, right? I mean, if you think about the value shift, we had the value here and you have value here being built and then they rejected it. They said, no, we want to go a second floor. So now we're trading in the second floor right here. If they disagree on the second floor, we go down and so on, right? This floor just speeds up a little bit here. But ultimately they want to be above this to reach, you crack 80, there's a high probability you're going to put in your all-time highs. And if you want to know where that can go, you can simply use fibs. They're giving you pretty decent swing high. This is the low. And we can change that to extensions. And these would be the next levels that you're targeting in terms of swing over 60-80. But everything is in play tomorrow because of the CPI and depending on how we open, right? So let's see. I believe it's 8:30 in the morning, CPI or.
Yes.
Yep, 8:30.
Yeah, so if you're not comfortable, don't trade it. It's gonna hide these candles. We don't need them for now. So here's our TPO. I think this profile is merged. Yeah, so here we go. So definitely we have some single prints, right? And I would say that's probably going to play a role when it comes to acceptance. If we can reclaim this 55.25, that'll be somewhat good for them, especially if we can open above these single prints. And if I wasn't trading actively today because I was watching Real Madrid beat up on some smaller clubs. There is a spike that you guys got a little bit here. Just have to click the right things. Is there anyone on the call that doesn't know what the spike is? It's okay if you don't. I'm just gonna mark this right here. just gotta mark these value areas so I'm aware where all this sits. Yeah, that's the single prints that we are inside. Okay. I'll mark these single prints here because if we can reclaim 65, potentially target, right? You know, for 6 points, you could go here, trim, and then you could lead all the way to 71. But I would say, you know, what Erica was talking about earlier, I still think that 60, 64, 65 area is going to be important. And we'll check the monthly TPOs to see where it lines up right now, just to make sure that we are not missing that big level. So now let me ask you guys, is this profile looking bullish or bearish if we reclaim? Think about the structure and where we went. If we reject these prices and we get inside this 55, what is it telling you about this here?
There's
That
a
we
lot of
won't
orders there.
Say it again.
that we want to stay above it.
We want to stay above it. We're not spending much time. And especially if this, you know, spike is rejected tomorrow, that would mean, hey, they really mean, you know, that we don't want to go below. That most likely, you know, reclaim this 55.25. You could potentially catch an 80% here, right? You would come here and you could drive this to up here. And I mean, you know, what is that? 55.72? That's not too bad. I mean, that's decent points for the day. And you could manage this trade really well tomorrow, depending on how, of course, that works in terms of CPI. But if you do something like this looks like a pretty good trade here. Look at that. That wouldn't be bad. You could even probably lower it somewhere to increase the probability of it. Something like this, that wouldn't be bad to watch for something like this on the bullish side. But tomorrow, if we open inside the value and we lose it and then we lose the spike, I would say most likely we're going to be testing this 36 level, and then below that we open up towards that, I would say 15 to about 12. And I know this is a huge delta because 605 and 612 were massive, I believe, last month or whenever that happened, 27. They're really, really large deltas here. So I would think there's going to be a massive bounce here or a good enough bounce to make some money on this here. Okay. Any questions on ES? Was everyone okay
That's
trading today? Did you guys understand why we took some of the trades?
Yeah, I think it was a good day for me.
Yes.
Yep. Some of you guys had record days, and that was really, really good to see that you guys are actually learning, and not necessarily just because I'm on the call, but some of you guys had the same idea. You guys also had the same levels, and you're playing it in a way that you probably should be playing the market, right? We flipped long, we flipped short, we flipped many times, you know, on both sides, just because the market was moving in such way as well. So hopefully you guys were able to navigate the market, right? And make sure that you're on the right side for the most part. So if you're not, I mean, don't let one day or one trade kind of negate all your progress, right? It'll get better, but you know, a lot of you guys are still suffering with the mental side of letting go and you know, market telling you you're wrong and you accepting it. Once you know, work that out, then you're gonna start growing a little bit as a trader as well.
It felt easier today because that level just was so stacked. Like there's so much stuff there, right?
You're talking about 64, right? Why did I stop trading?
Yeah.
So if you look at, for instance, that monthly level that you're talking about, so if you look at this, right? I mean, the 64, at that point, it was the value area low, I believe, was 64. Don't quote me on it. I'm pretty sure it was. Let's see. Yeah, it was 64.5 was December value area low that we had. So it was pretty massive in terms of the importance of them holding that level. But now, a day later, look what happened. And remember, we talked about this on Sunday, that if we dip below this double distribution and then you reclaim it, don't be short. I promise they're literally just gonna fly up to here. And it's gonna be quick. It's just gonna be a quick, if they reclaim this, let's say here 62, you have a really chance for 30 points rip. So don't fight it, right? As bearish as you want to be, don't fight it, right? All right, guys. Well, hopefully you guys don't overtrade tomorrow. I would suggest that you guys take a day off and kind of use it as a patience test. Pretend you're looking and taking some trades, take some notes and see how that would work. But maybe it's not a bad idea to start kind of taking days off like this, just so that way you can also test your patience and your confirmation that you're not going to do something that you shouldn't. At least that's what I do. And you can reward yourself as a trader, right? Take a day off. You don't have a boss. You can do as you wish, right? As long as your wife's not going to Target every day.
And thanks, Shorty.
All right,
Thank
guys.
you.
See you guys tomorrow. Bye bye.
Thank you.